Everywhere you look, people are telling you to hustle, work harder, wake up at 5 a.m., grind until you make it. Hustle culture says that if you are not constantly pushing, you are falling behind. But what if that is a lie? What if working less actually leads to getting more? Taoism teaches the art of doing nothing, not laziness, not giving up, but learning how to move with life instead of fighting against it. And today we are breaking down why Taoism rejects hustle culture and how letting go of constant striving can actually lead to more success, more peace, and a better life. Let's get started. Chapter number 1, why forcing success often leads to failure. We are told from a young age that hard work is the key to success. Push harder, do more, never stop. Hustle culture glorifies exhaustion as if being busy is the same as being productive. But have you ever noticed that the more you force something, the harder it gets? The more you chase happiness, the more it slips away. The more you try to relax, the more anxious you feel. This is the paradox of effort. Sometimes, the harder you try, the further you push yourself from the very thing you want. Taoism understood this centuries ago. Lao Tzu, the author of the Tao Te Ching, warned that forcing things to happen only leads to resistance. A tree does not strain itself to grow. The river does not force its way to the ocean. Nature moves effortlessly, yet it accomplishes everything. Taoism teaches that humans are part of nature too. The more we try to control everything, the more we lose control. Think about the last time you were desperate for something to happen. A job, a relationship, a goal you could not stop thinking about. Did that desperation help you? Or did it just create more stress? Did all that effort bring results? Or did things fall into place only when you finally let go? This is what Taoism warns against. It is not saying do nothing. It is saying stop forcing, stop struggling, move with life, not against it. But if forcing does not work, then what does? Taoism has an answer. It is called Wu Wei, and it is one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of philosophy. That is what we will explore next. Chapter number 2, the power of effortless action. Most people think success comes from constant effort, work longer hours, push through exhaustion, never stop moving. But Taoism teaches something completely different. It says the most powerful way to achieve success is through effortless action. This is called Wu Wei. It does not mean laziness. It does not mean giving up. It means acting in harmony with life instead of fighting against it. Think about the times when things felt easy, a conversation that flowed naturally, a task that just seemed to complete itself, a moment when everything clicked into place without struggle. That is Wu Wei in action. Lao Tzu explains it like this: the Tao never strives, yet nothing is left undone. In other words, when you align with the natural flow of life, things happen without force. Modern science backs this up. Psychologists call it flow state. Athletes, artists, and musicians experience moments where everything feels effortless. Their actions become automatic. Their performance improves not because they are trying harder, but because they are in complete sync with what they are doing. So why do most people never experience this? Because hustle culture tells them they must force success. Taoism teaches the opposite. It says success comes when you learn to move with the rhythms of life. But this raises a big question. If we are not supposed to force things, does that mean we should just wait around and do nothing? Taoism answers this by looking at nature, specifically at water. Chapter number 3, Nature's Way, Why Water Always Wins. Most people believe that strength comes from resistance, that the harder you push, the more you achieve, that success belongs to those who fight the hardest, endure the most, and refuse to give up. But Taoism teaches a different kind of strength. A strength that does not come from force, but from adaptation. Lao Tzu, the ancient philosopher behind the Tao Te Ching, saw this wisdom in nature, especially in water. Water is soft. It has no fixed shape. It yields to everything in its path. Yet over time, it carves through mountains, shapes landscapes, and wears down even the hardest stone. It does not fight. It flows. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu wrote, "Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it." Water does not try to control its path. It moves around obstacles. It takes the easiest route forward. It does not resist. it adapts. Compare that to how most people live. They push, they struggle, they fight to control everything: money, relationships, success, the opinions of others. But the harder they push, the more resistance they face. The more they try to force life to go their way, the more exhausted they become. Modern psychology supports this idea. Researchers studying resilience have found that the most successful people are not the ones who fight against every difficulty. They are the ones who adjust, the ones who accept what they cannot change and move forward anyway. Just like water. Think about your own life. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you tried to force it to happen? Maybe a relationship you held on to for too long, a job you worked yourself to exhaustion for, a situation where you fought so hard that by the end, you had nothing left to give. What if instead of forcing, you flowed? What if you moved with life instead of against it? Taoism does not teach passivity, it teaches wisdom. Not all battles need to be fought. Not all doors need to be forced open. Sometimes the smartest move is to let go of control, adapt, and allow things to happen naturally. But this raises a question. If we are not forcing success, how do we know when to act and when to step back? If we are letting go, does that mean we should just accept whatever happens without any direction? The answer lies in understanding the illusion of control. Chapter number 4, the illusion of control and the freedom of letting go. Most people live under a powerful illusion, the illusion that they can control everything. They make plans, they set goals, they try to predict the future and shape it according to their will. But no matter how carefully they plan, life always finds a way to surprise them. A missed opportunity, a relationship that does not work out, a sudden change that throws everything off course. When things do not go as expected, most people react with frustration. They try even harder to force things back on track. They believe that if they just work harder, push more, or control every little detail, they can finally make life go their way. Taoism teaches that this is an exhausting and endless struggle. It asks a simple but profound question. What if the problem is not life itself, but your need to control it? Lao Tzu explains this in the Tao Te Ching, saying, the more rules and regulations there are, the more thieves and robbers there will be. He is not just talking about governments or laws. He is talking about the way people try to control their own lives. The tighter they hold on, the more they suffer. The more they try to control others, the more resistance they create. The more they try to force happiness, the more it escapes them. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean doing nothing. It means understanding the difference between what you can control and what you cannot. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the outcome of every situation. You cannot control the way life unfolds, but you can control how you respond. You can control your attitude, your mindset, and your ability to adapt. Modern psychology supports this idea. Studies on stress and anxiety have found that people who focus only on what they can control experience far greater well-being than those who obsess over things beyond their reach. This is the foundation of Stoicism, another powerful philosophy that echoes Taoist wisdom. But Taoism goes one step further. It teaches that when you stop grasping, life actually becomes easier. Opportunities arise naturally. Problems solve themselves. When you stop forcing things, you begin to see paths you never noticed before. Think about the last time you were truly at peace. It was probably not when you were trying to control everything. It was likely when you let go, when you stopped resisting what was happening and simply allowed yourself to be in the moment. Taoism teaches that this way of living is not just a rare experience, it can become your daily reality. It is a shift in perspective, a decision to stop swimming against the current and instead move with the flow of life. But this raises an important question. If we are not controlling everything, if we are letting go, then how do we make decisions? How do we take action without falling back into the trap of striving? And the answer lies in one of the most misunderstood Taoist ideas, a concept that teaches how to act without force, how to move without struggle, and how to achieve without exhaustion. Chapter number 5, Wu Wei and the Art of Effortless Action. Most people believe that success comes from struggle, that if you are not pushing, grinding, and working harder than everyone else, you will fall behind. This belief is deeply ingrained in modern culture. It is the foundation of hustle mentality. It is a reason people sacrifice sleep, burn themselves out, and measure their worth by how busy they are. Taoism teaches the opposite. It introduces a concept that challenges everything society tells you about effort and success. This concept is called Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated as non-action, but that is misleading. It does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean sitting back while life passes you by. It means taking action in a way that feels natural, effortless, and aligned with the flow of life. Lao Tzu describes it in the Tao Te Ching by saying, "The Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone." At first, this seems like a paradox. How can you take no action and still get everything done? But when you look deeper, you realize that this is exactly how nature operates. A tree does not force itself to grow. A river does not fight to reach the ocean. A seed does not struggle to become a plant. They simply follow the natural rhythms of life, and yet they accomplish everything. Modern science supports this idea. Psychologists have studied a phenomenon called flow state, where people enter a mindset of complete focus and effortlessness. Athletes, musicians, and artists describe moments where their actions feel automatic. They are not overthinking, they are not forcing, they are simply in tune with what they are doing. This is Wu Wei in motion. The problem is that most people never experience this. They are too busy forcing everything. They are stuck in their own heads, constantly planning, worrying, and trying to control every outcome. They believe that struggle equals progress, when in reality, struggle often creates resistance. Wu Wei teaches that when you let go of unnecessary effort, things begin to happen naturally. You move at the right time. You make decisions without hesitation. You take action in a way that feels easy yet incredibly effective. This is not magic. It is a way of seeing the world. But if this approach is so powerful, why do so few people follow it? Why do most people cling to the idea that success requires endless struggle? The answer lies in the deep conditioning of hustle culture. Society rewards busyness, not wisdom. It praises effort, not alignment. It convinces people that slowing down is the same as giving up. Taoism teaches that real success does not come from working harder. It comes from working with life rather than against it. It comes from recognizing when to act and when to wait. It comes from understanding that effort is only useful when applied at the right time. This changes everything. It means you do not have to exhaust yourself to be successful. You do not have to control everything to make progress. You do not have to struggle to achieve great things. You just need to know how to flow. But what does this look like in real life? How can you apply Wu Wei to your daily routine, your work, and your goals? That is what we will explore next. Chapter number 6, how to apply Wu Wei in everyday life. Understanding Wu Wei is one thing, living it is another. Most people are so conditioned to believe that success requires struggle that they have no idea how to function without constant effort. Even when they hear about Wu Wei, their first thought is, but how do I actually do this? The truth is that you do not do Wu Wei, you allow it. It is not a technique to master. It is a way of moving through life with less force and more awareness. Lao Tzu explains this in the Tao Te Ching by saying, stop trying to control, let life unfold. The more you resist, the more life resists you. This is the heart of Wu Wei. Instead of trying to impose your will on the world, you align with what is already happening. But what does this actually look like in real life? In work, Wu Wei means knowing when to push forward and when to step back. It means trusting that rest and reflection are just as important as action. Studies on productivity from the Harvard Business Review have found that the most effective workers are not the ones who grind endlessly, but the ones who take breaks, allow ideas to develop, and work in natural cycles of energy and rest. In relationships, Wu Wei means letting go of the need to control people. It means allowing others to be as they are without forcing them to change. Many people experience tension in relationships because they try to make people fit their expectations. Wu Wei teaches that harmony comes not from control, but from acceptance. In personal growth, Wu Wei means following the natural path of your interests and strengths instead of forcing yourself into roles that do not suit you. It means trusting that progress does not always come from pushing harder, but sometimes from stepping back and allowing things to unfold in their own time. This is not laziness, it is deep wisdom. It is learning to listen to the rhythms of life instead of fighting against them. It is knowing that the seasons change whether you rush them or not. It is understanding that a river finds the ocean not by forcing its way through mountains, but by flowing naturally to where it is meant to go. But there is one final piece to this. If we are letting go, if we are flowing with life, does that mean we never make plans, never set goals, never try to shape our future? Not at all. Taoism does not tell you to abandon ambition. It tells you to pursue it differently. Instead of forcing success, you invite it. Instead of controlling life, you dance with it. In the final chapter, we will explore how Wu Wei can help you achieve more, not by doing more, but by doing less of what does not matter and focusing only on what truly does. Chapter number 7. Achieving more by doing less. For most people, the idea of doing less feels uncomfortable. Society has conditioned us to believe that productivity equals worth, that if you are not constantly moving, pushing, and striving, you are falling behind. But Taoism teaches something different. It shows us that real progress does not come from doing more. It comes from doing the right things at the right time while letting go of everything that drains your energy for no reason. Lao Tzu describes this in the Tao Te Ching by saying, in pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. This is the opposite of hustle culture. Instead of asking, what more can I do? Taoism asks, what can I let go of? Think about all the things you do in a day that are not actually helping you. Mindless scrolling, overthinking, worrying about things beyond your control, trying to meet expectations that are not even yours. Wu Wei teaches that the fastest way to move forward is to remove resistance, not create more of it. This is why some of the most successful people in the world simplify their lives. Steve Jobs famously wore the same outfit every day to eliminate small decisions. Warren Buffett keeps his life deliberately boring so he can focus on what truly matters. Bruce Lee once said, "It is not the daily increase, but the daily decrease." Hack away at the unessential. This is Taoism in action. It is not about laziness. It is about efficiency. It is about focusing only on what moves you forward and letting go of what does not. So how do you apply this? First, stop forcing things that are not working. If you have been grinding at a project, a relationship, or a goal that is draining you without progress, step back. Give it space. Let go of the belief that struggle is always necessary. Second, trust timing. Taoism teaches that everything happens in cycles. There is a time for action and a time for stillness. Farmers do not pull on their crops to make them grow faster. They plant, water, and wait. You should do the same with your goals. Third, simplify. Look at your daily life. What unnecessary stress can you remove? What tasks are you doing just because you feel like you should? Start cutting away the distractions and energy drains. The less clutter you have in your mind and your life, the easier it is to flow. When you stop forcing and start allowing, something incredible happens. You achieve more, not because you are trying harder, but because you are no longer wasting energy on things that do not matter. This is the art of doing nothing, not laziness, not passivity, but moving with life instead of against it. So now the question is, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to step away from the hustle and trust that success can come without struggle? Let me know in the comments how this philosophy speaks to you. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more insights on Taoism, effortless living, and the wisdom of flowing with life. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all.